Alright guys, make sure you tap right here to remind you of the Heatwave Black Friday sale. It's a one-day only sale, 25% off site-wide, everything. We're talking performance, photochromic, aviators, heck, we're even throwing prescription in there. So make sure you get there early, take a look at the times. You might even win one of these cool watches. Love that orange. And if you forget things like I do, you're gonna need a reminder. So tap right here to be reminded of the reminder for the sale that's only one day only, so you don't forget.
This Dead Kennedys song is more relevant than ever before. Here's the question I asked Google, and it's ironic using these things. It's also ironic because I complain at people for using the AI. It wouldn't exist if you and I were surrounded by good people, but it does exist, which suggests that we just might be surrounded by a bunch of morons who aren't willing to do the right thing. That's also most likely why things are bad and getting worse, exponentially speaking. So what I asked is, has what people consider AI integrated with what we also consider Wi-Fi? And I think some words were left out, lost in translation. But I was using Google. I was talking at it and hoping that it would think for me. I was being lazy. Our masters got us through convenience and entertainment. Make no mistake of that. Bread and circuses, motherfucker. So here's a bullshit, superficial AI overview. These things disgust me, but this is the way of things now, because people aren't willing to do the right thing. Yes, artificial intelligence, AI, has been increasingly integrated with Wi-Fi technology to create smarter, more efficient, and more secure networks. This integration, often referred to as AI Wi-Fi, have you heard of that? Anybody? There's a reason why I clicked record. Or AI networking. Have you heard of that before? Do you hear people talking about that? Do you hear people taking an issue with this? Probably not. Moves beyond traditional static network management to proactive, self-optimizing systems. Now what I want you to think about is the fact that Instagram, and this applies to Facebook just as much, because Facebook is LifeLog and Instagram is LifeLog 2.0. Make no mistake of that either. Look into it. Don't buy into it. It's divisive as fuck. I still use Instagram. I still have accounts on Facebook. We are all guilty of buying into this garbage because complacency got us this far. So I think it's the 16th of December, approximately. Everything you've ever left on either of these will be scanned, specifically Instagram as far as I'm aware, by the AI. And there's no way to just opt out, to say, fuck you, no. You can submit forms and jump through a bunch of hoops, and in doing so, train the AI, and also call yourself out. So you can be blacklisted, to varying degrees, based on different servers, if I'm not mistaken, or however that works these days with cloud-based bullshit. Yeah. Why would they do something like that? Well, coincidentally, the Davos panel also openly stated in a public transcript, which is available to you, the last fiscal year, that people such as myself who are calling out bullshit and trying, and I do mean trying, I want to emphasize trying, to reach others and get them to pull their heads out of their assholes and look around for the first time in their lives. To think for themselves for the first time in their fucking lives. Once again, we're surrounded by very, very dim people. That's why things are bad. In other words, what you believe in, what you think you know, is garbage and likely propaganda, which means you're fucking things up. So people such as myself, we will be slapped on the wrist and there will be monetary sanctions and or jail time. So with AI integrating with all things, they can scan these profiles that we set up and they can dance back and scan older things that we left online and say, now that's bad. There's a new way to do things. And if you assume this is not true, if you assume this couldn't possibly happen, some of you out there, not in America, democracy, I'm a patriot. Because you don't understand that the republic fell and nothing is for the people by the people. Among other things. do consider socially political. Am I saying it right? I haven't eaten yet. Socially political correct. I don't feel like that sounds right, but some of you guys probably know PC, politically correct propaganda. That's what I'm trying to spit out. That shit was rolled out, and now things that you used to not be able, or things that you used to be able to say because of freedom of speech, people will tell you, you can't say the R word, not anymore. You know, also, this was years ago. I had one of my old acquaintances, he barked at me, and he said, you can't say tranny anymore. And I said, well, I just did. Because you can. It's also, relevant if you work on, automobiles. I'm just saying. And retard, I mean, it does factor in the fact that most people out there aren't exceptionally bright lights. Means that they're doing counterproductive bullshit, which is in fact retarded. Not unlike retrograde if you think in terms of, heavenly lights in the sky. When Mercury goes into retrograde, it is in fact retarded. It's a damn fine way to describe the motion. No, really. It's a word, and it's relevant. And anybody who would censor something like that is promoting fascism. Because all censorship is patently fascist. And you'll have idiots out there, they will argue otherwise. Because they have a dog in a race, they want to believe in a fairy tale, and they want to lie to themselves and have you lie to their face too. Just to, help them get through their wet fart kind of a day. Poorly put. These kids aren't very bright. This shit is coming. This shit is closer than ever before. And no one is doing anything to see that it doesn't exist. No one. No one has set out on the journey to stop this. Dead in its tracks. If you assume otherwise, does cancer-causing genetically modified poison still exist? Are we being crop dusted with cancer-causing chemtrails? And the list goes on. Do people support the Hegelian dialectic, which is fascism at its finest, and wear I voted pins? Proudly wear I voted pins? Because they don't understand how anything works and they're not willing to give any of it any thought whatsoever. They're marching in lockstep with everybody else. That's why all this shit exists. That's why things are bad. One last time, make no mistake of that. What the fuck do I know? There's always an additional thought with me. So here's something else that's been happening. Instagram, yeah? I made my primary account private many years ago, and I cleaned all the retards out of there. Yeah? So, people who aren't close to me aren't part of that account. Which means they can't jump in there and scroll through there and flag posts and, try to burn me to the fucking ground. But with these, these artificial intelligence bullshit steps in place, posts from 2015, 2014, there was 2013 as well, and that's roughly when I set it up and set up my first Instagram account. Dancing back to roughly the beginning, because a few times my account's also been deactivated, and I've documented that. And then they've reinstated it, and when they do that, I have 61,000 posts in there now. It will build the account again, and when it does that, I can see old posts. It's hard as fuck to scroll back and see them. Which is why a human probably wouldn't do that. It's certainly, AI, electronic bullshit. Consider this an episode of Tangent Cam. What I was attempting to spit out, and I failed. I finally ate a sandwich. When the algorithm, the AI algorithm, and most likely AI bullshit was being integrated with LifeLog 2.0 and going back and quite literally sweeping my account for anything that was deemed, not socially acceptable anymore, these posts were flagged. And a lot of them weren't reinstated. Some of them were reinstated and the audio was stripped from them. Some of them were reinstated and there was only audio. The video disappeared. Some of them were reinstated and hashtags disappeared. But on that note, none of my hashtags have worked in, I forget how long. maybe 5 years, 3 or 4 years. Either way, my hashtags don't work anymore. And when I first set up Instagram, I thought it was a beautiful idea. Here are two things in terms of technology that I was excited about. I was excited about QR codes and I was excited about hashtags. Because you could build a cloud-based, inventory and people could find things. They could use it like fucking breadcrumbs in real life and online. And too many fucking thoughts. The projects I have in mind. And then QR codes didn't take off. Then they came back. Now they're a thing again. And that's a whole nother ball of wax. And the hashtags in my primary account don't work. Even though I left a lot of things online. I left a lot of the things online on other accounts on Instagram, and you can't find any of that either. There's less than 50 posts, I think, if you knock out my moniker, Keianh, and it's mostly what other people have left online when they were tagging me in things, because I left a lot of really neat shit online, and a lot of people did like it. There's very little of it still out there that's available to you, and most of it dates to 2013 and 2014, which I find very suspicious. After that, scrubbed. You can't find it. The reason you can't find my hashtags in the primary account is because it's a private account now. But if you're one of the people who are following that account, you also can't find my hashtags because they're dead. I also can't go live on Instagram either, and I haven't been able to for a very, very, very long time. Because every time you do the right thing now, you get slapped on the wrist. And as I understand it, that just means, well, now another 60 or 90 days have been added to this bullshit system of trying to deter me from doing the right thing. In other words, say what we want, don't step out of line, don't rock the boat, don't color outside the lines, and all those other analogies. March in lockstep with all the other kids, all the other retards. And if you don't, things will be taken away from you. The other retards, they can go live, their hashtags work, that's fine. But that's because they're retarded and they're marching in lockstep. But if you don't conduct yourself as a retard and march in lockstep, things will be taken away from you. And that's exactly what's coming. Like I said, monetary sanctions and or jail time. And after that, it's only going to get worse. Death. Death is what's for dinner. And or dismemberment and who fucking knows what. We are in for some really dark times. Because fascism is alive and well and people aren't doing anything to fucking stop this. Two examples here in the States that you could appreciate. And keep in mind, it's the District of Columbia. It's the bottom of the trilateral city-states. That's what the military-industrial complex is. Look up the House of Congress, and you'll see the symbolism in the back of the House of Congress. You can figure this out. Use your brain. It's the symbol of the fasci. It's fascism. And it's boldly displayed. It flanks the Speaker of the House. You see it in damn near every single fucking recording of somebody babbling about fucking phony bullshit. Another example is the Lincoln Memorial, underneath both of Lincoln's hands. And keep in mind, Lincoln's hands denote a binary state. They also denote other things, but people haven't figured that out. But below those, on the throne that he's sitting on his chair, it's a symbol of fascism. Keep in mind, he was the 16th president, and allegedly he was, assassinated by, somebody who wasn't working for our masters. And a bunch of other flowery fucking horse shit. Our masters sacrificed their puppets because a martyr lives on in memory and can do a hell of a lot more than somebody who's flesh and blood. But people haven't figured that much out. Do you remember anybody babbling about fucking Charlie Kirk? Fascist! He supported Israel. He wasn't a good guy. And he was promoting the Hegelian dialectic, which is, the bread and butter of celebrity puppets. I mean, controlled opposition. All right, end of tangent, Cam. Back to point. They're sweeping accounts, is my point. And this has been happening. And this is also why I'm arbitrarily flagged for things that have been alive and well on this profile, on this platform, on Instagram, LifeLog 2.0. It was okay. But now, retroactively, isn't that the word I think I'm looking for? I still haven't eaten. Maybe not. Either way, they're dancing back to old material and telling me, no, bad. And not just that. Now they have tests you can jump through. You can opt into consenting to this being bad, even though it was not bad and it is not bad. But what they want you to consent to is censorship, fascism, fascist tactics. They want you to normalize it. They want you to agree to it. This is what's taking place. I think on, was it TikTok? Also, ironically, because these things are the same fucking thing. I think it was TikTok that asked me to jump through a questionnaire. And I did so. I recorded a live video, or a screen recording. Pardon me, it's live for me, but not for you. And I failed the quiz. Because some of it was fucking wishy-washy bullshit, in my humble opinion. But just the same, once I did that, then I wasn't allowed to challenge the their arbitrary finding, you know, based on fascism. I mean, censorship. It's the same thing. But people don't understand that, because people are out there supporting shadow banning, canceling, polarizing positive vibes only, calling people a hater to reaffirm their dogmatic belief system, rattling off things like Snopes and debunked. These are all soft social engineering buzzwords in place to pave the way for fascism. I mean, censorship. It happened because you and I are surrounded by really smart people. Two other examples I've thrown out in the past. This has to do with Alex Jones, who's a controlled opposition asset, and so is Donald Trump, if you haven't figured that much out. Both are actors, by and large. Look into it. They're in place to manipulate the masses, to promote the Hegelian dialectic, to promote fascism. I shit you not. I think it was on Twitter, I think is how this was originally rolled out. And yeah, that's been rebranded X, which is absolutely a red flag. Anytime our masters rename something, that should make you prick up your ears and question, why are they rebranding it? And so that you forget about the former state and you buy into the propaganda, the new way of thinking. You could think of a one world religion. You could think of a new world order. That's how that shit comes to light. Just like that, they start calling America New America, and then you do as you're told, or you don't get to fit in. Things are taken away. That's coming. It's coming. But first, everything will fall apart and go to shit. The examples that I wanted to rattle off, and these are old hat now. Alex Jones was supposedly censored on TikTok, and his account was deleted, or he wasn't allowed to post, or some bullshit like this, and this is many years ago. And I see things for what they are. Not in every case, but in this case, it stood out like a sore thumb, and people didn't get it. They did not get it. They reacted. They didn't think about it. Some of them whined about Alex Jones and how he should be able to do this, to do that. Freedom of speech is what people should have been talking about. And normalizing fascist censorship is what people should have been talking about. And what people should have been doing is not normalizing this and systematically rejecting any notion of censorship. Pardon me, I whistled. In other words, not buying into calling things shadow banning and all those things I rattled off. I left one out. There's a lot of them. Joking around about being in Facebook jail is you promoting fascist censorship, patently fascist censorship. You're normalizing it, you're watering it down, and you're telling other people that it's okay. It's not okay. It will never be okay. It is absolutely not okay. Freedom of speech, we should be fighting for it, but we also should be reconstituting the Republic. But nobody understands that the Republic doesn't exist. And I've spoken about this at length. You can't Google these things because Google's a tool of propaganda. And it's integrated with the AI, which is a red flag. The moment they rolled out the AI overview, just like this Alex Jones bullshit, here it is. I could see it coming. It's not a good thing. No one's going to do anything to stop it. Things are going to get worse. They're not going to get better. We don't got this. Even though people are being told that we do, and they repeat that. The other example is Trump was supposedly censored on these things too. In other words, our master celebrity puppets that you're familiar with normalized fascist censorship. And so it goes. And so it went. And here we are. But what the fuck do I know? I Googled moving words and stuff on YouTube and was bombarded with, AI can do this for you. There's plenty of apps that still exist. This is me using the app, and I was presented with this, which is an advertisement for none other than my Tunes AI music generator. We don't need AI. And once again, it should not exist, and it would not exist if you and I were surrounded by smart people willing to do the right thing. This is not how things should be, but this is how things are, because people aren't willing to do the right thing. Look closely. Oh, it's almost as if this is being scanned, because freedom of speech doesn't fucking exist anymore! By the way, that is a jackass, by definition. Evil Google, what is the definition of a jackass? A jackass can be a male donkey, or more commonly, an informal and often insulting term for a stupid or foolish person. When your cell phone is turned on, is Google always listening? Yes, the Google Assistant is always listening for its wake words. Thing is if AI is integrated with all things electronic having to do with Wi-Fi, because there are hotspots quite literally anywhere if you live in a goddamn city, this thing is listening to you, and it's building on the profiles you and I have already created for our masters so they wouldn't have to. The goal is control. Our masters are tightening the noose. They're creating blacklists for folks who aren't willing to march in lockstep and act like retards, and or function as a fucking retard, happily function as a fucking retard. This should keep you up at night. But when I look around, when I talk to people online and in real life, no one is aware of this, no one is concerned with this, no one is willing to do anything to stop this. During which month do we celebrate Thanksgiving? Google, you piece of shit. I mean, you know this, right? Yeah. And that's why this took place. It's divisive. Government is a corporation. America is the bottom of the trilateral city-state, specifically the District of Columbia. People know nothing. And food was weaponized and dangled over people's heads. Because this is the month of Thanksgiving. Our masters love to pop jokes because they are, in fact, laughing at us from tall buildings. But most of you assume you don't have masters. What the fuck do I know?
Nazi punks, fuck off, take 3.
Fucking no religious cult, probably singing for yourself. And hardcore, we got your hair when a jock still lives inside your head. Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off. Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off. If you come upside, get out of here. You're no better than the bouncers. We ain't trying to be police, when you ain't the cops, it ain't anarchy. Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off. Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off. 10 guys jump up, what a man. And 5 each other, the police state wins. You cook your goose in a trash our halls. Trash your bag if you got real balls. You still think plastic guys look cool. The real Nazis run your school. Those just businessmen and cops, and the real boys want to be the first to go. Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off. Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off. You be the first to go, you be the first to go, you be the first to go, unless